Hi guys, and welcome to my end of 2016 tutorial on how to set up a VPS with DigitalOcean. This tutorial is going to be beginner friendly and will give you step-by-step instructions on everything you need to know. I struggled for days before I got everything set up, so I want to make life a little easier with this guide. This will work on both PC and Mac, and I will even give you all the necessary commands in a file so you don't have to type everything in manually, which will save you a ton of time. So just follow along and copy and paste with me. In this installation, we will be installing everything on Linux Ubuntu, and our installation will include Nginx, MySQL, and PHP. You might have heard of Apache, but we will be using Nginx since it is much faster, and for our application, it'll give us more bang for our buck, and it will be able to handle a lot more traffic than Apache. After we're done, you're going to be able to use your server to send emails, host multiple websites, or install tracking services like Prosper 202, for which I have a separate tutorial. So before we get into the meat and potato of things, please, if you find this video helpful, thank me by signing up to DigitalOcean using my link below and get a free $10 sign-up bonus coupon. It's win-win. It's really easy to register, and you can start from $5 a month. You will need to download the following free software to set up this installation: Putty, P-U-T-T-Y, and FileZilla. Mac users will not have to download Putty since they will be using Terminal. Now that you have everything downloaded, open your browser and set up your account at DigitalOcean. Once you have that done, you will see this screen where it shows all your droplets. You won't have any here, so you'll go to Create a Droplet. And you'll see the screen where you can set up your droplet. Our droplet is actually our VPS, our server. We will set up our server with Ubuntu, and we're going to use version 14.04, 32-bit. For size, we'll start by using the $5 size VPS. This will be enough for most people's application. And if you find that you have to scale up, it isn't a problem to add more VPSs and to multiply your computing power. These will all be left default. Just change your host name down here, and you can make it anything you want. No one will see this. I'm going to call this Droplet 1. So just hit create. You see here that it is being created. It's called Droplet 1, and in around a minute or two, we will get all the account details sent to our email. So I went to my email and copied all my login info, and now what I want to do is save that in a file somewhere so I don't forget it, and we will need this for the setup. Once you've saved your login information somewhere, then go ahead and open Putty, double click it, and it's going to ask you for your IP address. So just copy the IP address that you received, a leaf port at 22 and SSH, and in this field here type in whatever name you wish for your server. I'm going to use Droplet 1 as before. I'm going to hit save. Now double click Droplet 1 and you'll see a security alert. Don't worry about it and just click yes. So for those of you who are not familiar with command prompts, this is a command prompt window and you will have to type in some commands, but don't worry, I've listed them all for you and you're basically only going to be copying and pasting as you go along with me. So at this green little shape, you will want to type in root and you will want to type in your root password, which is right here. You got that in your email. Just a little side note, while you're typing in your password, you will not actually see anything happening here. So don't worry about that and just type your password in. And hit enter. Now it's going to ask you for your password once again, because we have to change our root password. So type in the password that you have received once again. And enter your new password. Please make this a strong password. For the purpose of this video, I'm just going to type in the just password and retype it. And I'm going to save my password so I don't forget it. Always do that, please. Now what we have to do is we have to create a new user. We don't want to log in under this root account all the time because it's not safe. So we will be creating a user and we'll be logging in through that user. So open up the file where you have your commands that I have provided you with, and copy in the first command. Just click copy, and you paste into these command prompts just by clicking the right button of your mouse. So you see you've copied or pasted add user, and I will call my user Bob. You can use this cursor to type in whatever you want. I'll type in Bob and hit enter. And see Bob has been entered, and now you need to provide a password for that user Bob. So I will type in password again. Please select a strong password and retype it. And I will go ahead and write down Bob, and the password is password, just so I don't forget it. Go back to the command window and just hit enter a couple of times because we don't want to fill in this info. Is this information correct? Type Y on your keyboard and press enter. And now what we want to do is we want to elevate the user Bob to an administrator level. And for that, we'll have to copy in this next command. So copy, go into your command window and paste it, right-clicking your mouse. Just hit enter. And your user Bob has been elevated to an administrator level. So next time we'll log in with our user Bob, not with root. The next thing that we have to do is we have to prepare our server for our installation. We're going to be deleting some unnecessary stuff from our server. So again, go to your command file and copy the next file, the third one, and paste it in your command prompt window. Hit enter. It's going to ask you if you want to continue, just type Y and enter. See, it's finished. So now we're going to update our server. Copy in the next command and just paste it in. Hit enter. And now we have prepared our server for the installation. So we can start by installing PHP. Copy this command and paste it into your window. Hit enter. Just type Y and enter. Now don't worry, because we downloaded FileZilla, after we have done setting up the server, we won't have to use our server just with this command prompt window. We will actually be able to see all the files just like you're used to Windows. Now that it has finished, we will go ahead and install MySQL Server by clicking copy and paste and click yes. And you see that it's asking you for a root password for MySQL. You will use MySQL for things like WordPress. It's actually a database system, so be sure to create a strong password for this root password. And again, I'm going to type in password as my password just for the sake of this video. And I'm going to write it down so I don't forget it. So wait for it to run. And after it has finished, just copy the next command and paste it in. Now that's done. We're going to secure this MySQL installation so no one can hack in, or we're going to make it hard for people to hack in. So copy this command and paste it in. Hit enter. And it will ask you for your current password for root. But this is your root password for your MySQL. So this is the password that we have saved here. This is our last password from the previous step. So I'm going to type mine in. Hit enter. And it's going to ask you whether you'd like to change the root password. So hit N for no. Enter. And now there's going to be about 4 steps where you will just type in Y and enter for all of these. Y, enter. And it's as easy as that. You've just installed your MySQL and secured it. Next thing that we need to do, and this is actually nearly the last thing, is install our Nginx. So copy your next command and enter. Hit Y for yes. And now we are going to copy the next command. And before you hit enter, just paste it in. Don't hit enter yet. Let's look at this command. It begins with sudo, which means it's elevating this command to the administrator level, even though you're not root. So if we're on Bob as user, and when we type in sudo, it elevates us to administrator level. That's why we got sudo there. Nano is the application which we want to run, and it's basically something like WordPad or Notepad for Windows, because we're going to be editing something. And we're going to be editing this file in this path. So it's sudo nano and this path. So click enter, and you see we have entered in a kind of WordPad or word editing file here. To navigate, we have to use our keyboard keys, our arrow keys. So just go down like so, and you're going to want to navigate to this right here. Hashtag server name, hash bucket size 64. Once you have found this line, all you have to do is just delete this hashtag. See? No hashtag. Once you've done this, just click Control X or Command X for Mac users. And we will want to save the changes. So just type in Y and hit enter. And we have saved the changes to the document we have just altered. Next thing, we'll restart Nginx server. So these changes apply. So just copy and paste this command and hit enter. Restarting Nginx, and it is completed. The last thing that we want to do, just for security reasons, is to install a firewall to our server. So copy the next command and paste it in, hit enter. Then the next command, copy it, take care to copy the whole thing, including the parentheses, and hit enter. And now the last step is just to enable the firewall, and we're going to copy this, paste it here, and hit enter. It's going to ask us whether we want to continue. Just type in Y and hit enter. So guys, that's it. We have installed and we have set up our server with all the important stuff that we will need to put websites on our server, or to put WordPress on our server, or tracking software on our server. And if you want to learn how to do that, check out my other tutorials. The last thing that you can do is you can check out all your files that are on your server. So just to make sure visually that they are there, I like to do that. So open FileZilla. Don't mind this, it's just an error. You'll see this window, and we're going to be typing in here, in this panel right here. So it's going to ask us for the host, which is our IP. So copy your IP that you have received with your server. This is your server IP. Username is root, and type in your root password, which you have selected. Type in port, it's port 22, and click Quick Connect. And see that this is kind of an interface which you're used to. You see the files. You don't really have to use command prompt after the initial setup of the server. If you click here, this is the root folder, and all the root files inside the folder are here. We will be changing these files in later tutorials if you wish. So thanks for setting up the server with me. And again, if you'd like to thank me, just sign up using my link and you will receive a $10 bonus with DigitalOcean. Thanks guys, and see you next time.